Hello, beauty therapists. Now, I was just live on my skincare business and just kind of vibing on these live kind of vibes. And I wanted to come and share something I've been wanting to talk to you all about. And that is if I had my time again in beauty school and just sharing my tips for anyone who's in beauty school and they're studying, and it's just about making the most of your time. And this might be a little bit of a kind of trip down memory lane for any of you that have been to beauty school and you're like, oh yeah, totally agree. But yeah, this is kind of my take on what I would do differently. Now, I wasn't a terrible student, I wasn't the best student, and there is a lot of reasons for that. I was probably not at the best time of my life when I started beauty school, and honestly, I just fell into beauty school. I had no intentions of being a beauty therapist. I actually went to TAFE just to do a makeup course because a friend said, hey, let's do a makeup course. And then all of a sudden, here I am in the Diploma of Beauty. I fell in love with massage. So yeah, that's another story in itself. But I'm just kind of justifying why I probably wasn't the best student, but I was a good student as well. So if I had my time again at beauty school, goodness, all the things I would do differently. The first thing that comes to mind is I would really, really be practicing how I talk to clients. Now, I knew that the practical assessments were important, and we all know that. It's basically a majority of what we do. But even though the lecturers kind of told me, like, hey, you're going to have to retail to clients, I kind of thought, I don't have to retail to clients. You know, it's about the experience. It's about, the treatment. It's about the whole thing. And I never really considered the importance of, hello, someone gave me a love or a like, thank you, send them all my way. Always makes me feel good. But yeah, so I never really realized that I was going to have to talk to people and, it's like Chrissy, hello. I never really realized that I would actually have to be almost influential on my clients. I didn't realize I would have to share a thing. Now I'm getting distracted by the likes. Love it. Thank you. I never realized I would have to be sharing information in a way to kind of convince people to take action. I kind of just thought I would share my expertise and it would be all good. And, because I love what I do, they will just buy the retail. It'll be fine. I'll make my targets. No worries. And turns out that that is not true. And the art of talking to people really is an art. It's a science. It's so much, and it's practice, and it's practice, practice, practice. So I would have really practiced this skill, and I would have tried these techniques. Now, this is not about tricking people. Remember, we're all good people and we're trying to help our clients, but we really have to think about the different methods of communication we're using. So I really, really would have practiced that. I didn't try to sell anything when I was in TAFE. I was like, ugh, retail, whatever, dirty word, selling, yuck. We all know that's not true. So just wanted to put that one out there for you all. So if you are in beauty school, definitely, don't just listen to what your lecturers say. Do some Googling on YouTube. Check out amazing business coaches such as Chrissy, who's in the audience right now. She talks a lot about retailing to clients. Really, practice your people skills. Like, look into the science of people and communicating, charisma, body language. Oh, such a big topic. I would have really delved into that if I knew sooner, because it would have helped me so much when I got into the industry. Because remember, you are judged on your targets. Are you reaching your targets? You're being hired by employers, business owners, and a business owner needs to make money to sustain the business, to keep you having a job. So you really need to provide value to your employees. So the way you do that is, yes, give an amazing treatment, but number 2 is you make those retail targets. If you're not making those targets, it's going to be really hard for an employer to justify your worth. Now, of course, worth should never just be based on your retail targets. You know, we all learn at our different paces and whatnot, but really, really is important. So I could not stress that enough. So have fun with that one. It's, yeah, a really good one. So another thing I would have done, which I kind of did, but looking back, I would have tried a lot harder. I never realized the strength of connections and networking when I was at beauty school. I went to beauty school, like I said, kind of like a little bit of a rebellious teenager. I wasn't a teenager, I was an adult, which is even more embarrassing. But I went in there at a weird stage in my life and not mentally well. And I don't think I reflected my best version. I definitely had good relationships with my TAFE lecturers and all the other people. I generally just do that in my life anyways. I don't talk bad about people or point fingers or anything, so that kind of was okay. But I could have really made a little bit more effort with the people around me and building those connections, because turns out that the beauty industry is quite a small network of people, and someone knows someone knows someone knows someone. And that is kind of how I got my first 2 jobs in the industry, would you believe it? Was through knowing people. It was because I went to, so I guess I did an okay job at this, but I really would have tried harder if I had that retrospect. So my first job, I had a girl in my class. She got a job, and then another one got a job at the same place. And then because I knew that one of them was leaving that job, I knew there was a vacancy and someone else could kind of vouch for me as well. So I applied and I got the job. So you could say that was definitely a direct, you know, obviously I've got my own reasons why they hired me, but there is that influence there. And that's kind of how I got my second job as well, was through knowing people. So yeah, really foster those relationships. Obviously you're not out there to convince people and make friends just for your own selfish needs. It's actually about creating real connections and friendships. And, you know, when you get out to the industry, it gets a bit lonely. So having a beauty therapist friend could be really helpful. It could be something that you could talk to your beauty therapist friend and go, hey, I'm having issue with my warm stone massage, let's say, you know, could you give me some tips? Or I'm having an issue with recommending retail products when I'm doing waxing or pedicures. Could you give me some tips? And I mean, that's what this group is all about, of course, but having a friend who is kind of experiencing it at the same time, that could be really helpful as well. And do not neglect your TAFE lecturers, because they know everyone in your industry. I'm in Adelaide, and Adelaide is not a big place. I mean, we're a city, but we're not huge. So I know for a fact, just from the time that I've been in the industry and networking and talking to people, I know they know a lot of different business owners. So if they see your value and you really do show up and you pay attention and you're respectful and you're kind and you're really motivated to learn, your TAFE lecturers will know that. They'll notice that. And then if you develop a relationship with them, they might be happy enough to actually recommend you as the beauty therapist just starting out to someone that they know. And that could be the best thing for you, because that's a direct reference. You know, they've spent a lot of time with you, they know who you are, and they're going to give you a reference. That's a foot in the door. That is amazing. So definitely do not neglect relationships and networking. The power of it is amazing. So hope that one's helpful. And oh, there is a few. Now, this is probably my third tip, is when you go out, you know, you go into TAFE and you do not TAFE, beauty school. I went to TAFE, so I'm a bit biased there. But you go into beauty school and, you know, we start off with pedicures, manicures and hygiene, and we go tinting and makeup, and, you know, you do all the different skills. Now, this is my hypothesis. I actually think that the all-rounder beauty therapist is going to go a little bit out of fashion. So there might be definitely some all-rounders in this group. And honestly, I think you're amazing if you can juggle all those skills and be great at it. But I think gone are the days that we have all these amazing all-rounders. We are now niching. We are becoming specific. We're getting really targeted. So my advice to you as a new beauty therapist or someone just studying is to actually try all the skills, consider it like tasting new food. So it's like, all right, I'm going to taste eyebrows today. I'm going to have some fun with it. I'm going to try, see how I like it. And I'm really going to ask a lot of questions, and perhaps I'll love it, perhaps I won't. So you just want to practice everything and you want to see how it feels for you. You might be really strong in massage. That was definitely my strength. And then when I got into facials, I was like, oh, I love facials. I love the feeling. I just really loved it. And the science of it really piqued my interest. But I tell you what, when it came to waxing, I failed waxing actually the first time around. Really embarrassing. Was terrible at it. Still am terrible at it. Don't enjoy it. Really hate it. Just does not bring me joy at all. I don't like hurting people. So I found that out through my course, and my advice to you is to taste everything. And when you do like something, really foster that. Go, why do I like it? For one, can I practice this at home in my spare time? What kind of salons, spas, or clinics offer this service as a main service? What can I read up about this service? Everything you possibly can. Really delve into it and go, well, maybe there's a reason why I really like lash and brows or tanning or nails, whatever that is. Foster that and realize that it's okay to be strong at one thing, and it is okay to specialize. It's actually favorable for you. If you go out to the industry and you just say, I'm a beauty therapist. Now that's wonderful, but it's like, well, what is a beauty therapist? That definition is different for everyone. So if you go out there and you're like, I'm a lash and brow specialist, they're like, oh, you do awesome lash and brows. This is to the general public, but maybe you could say, I'm a waxing specialist, and then you can go on and tell them you're a beauty therapist, or I'm a skin therapist, I'm a massage therapist, or I'm a beauty therapist who loves massage therapy or relaxation massage therapy, whatever that is. It really helps in terms of marketing and being recognized for your skills and your talents. So do flaunt them. If you're really good at one of these skills, hone in on it and think about your potential employers in the future, and be upfront. Now, this is probably my fourth tip, is to do with hiring and workplace experience. And it's about really, I think I did this okay. Could have done it better. It's a kind of on this same note, but know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and be really intentional about the place that you apply to do work experience. Now, don't just go, I need to get work experience hours. I'm just going to call anyone, whoever, just take me. No, don't do that. I mean, if you really get desperate, then do that, but be very intentional about where you want to do work experience. And just remember that depending on the person who takes you on for work experience kind of depends on the things they're going to give you. Now, generally speaking, when you go to a chain perhaps, or a bigger clinic or something, they're going to give you cleaning jobs. It's going to happen. And I mean, everyone gets cleaning jobs because you can't do treatments, right? But I would suggest finding a business that could be a potential employer. I keep stuffing it up. Look for a business that could be a potential employer and be in the niche of things you love. So you love lash and brows, for example. You love nails. Go to a nail salon where they employ beauty therapists, qualified beauty therapists, or nail technicians. Go there, speak to them and say, look, I'm doing my diploma. I love nails. I absolutely adore them, and I'm really wanting to specialize. Can I come and help out your spa or salon or clinic and really observe what your beauty therapists are doing and be really intentional, be value adding, let them know that you are worth their time because they're doing this for free. They're not getting anything out of it. And if you are amazing, they might potentially employ you. So be really intentional about where you apply. and, you know, focus on the skill that you love, because that will probably get you a job. And let's think in terms of hiring as well. So maybe you've done your work experience and maybe it wasn't successful. You went to a skin clinic and they're just not hiring. Totally fine. You're on their radar at least. You maybe made a good impact. But you've finished your diploma, you've done your work experience, and now you're like, all right, now I've got to get onto the industry and get out there and get employed. What do you do next? Well, if I was in this spot once again, whoa, so many things. Actually, I think that deserves a whole other video, but what I would do differently, wow. I would be really honest with them. You know, don't fake and be like, oh, I'm amazing at everything. I got really good grades, so good at what I do, because you won't be. You really, really won't be. And don't beat yourself up as a new beauty therapist. We're all kind of a bit not that good when we start, but kind of don't have too much of a big head, but also don't get down on yourself either. It's really easy to be like, oh, I'm such a failure, I'm not good. You know, don't think that either. I did a little bit of that. I was like, oh, but it kind of drove me to be better. So be somewhere in the middle and realize and talk to your potential employer and just let them know when they ask what are your strengths and weaknesses, and tell them. I told my employer that I am terrible at waxing. Now, I didn't say I'm not good at waxing, I don't want to do it. Not at all. I said my strength is in massage and relaxation, and I know you do a lot of that in the place that I'm working. You know, I know you do a lot here. I'd love to do it all day. However, when it comes to waxing, it's not my strong suit. I'm happy to provide the service if needed, but I may need a little bit of guidance in this area. I'm happy to have an assessment, etc., etc., etc. So you're being really respectful of them, and you're being very upfront as well, because they would hate for a bad experience to happen because you were dishonest. If you're going to go there and be like, yeah, I'm so good at this, and then you're just getting complaints, there's kind of a bit of an honesty factor there. So be really honest, and just remember that these business owners are just people, just like you. They've been a beauty therapist before, and they understand what it's just like getting into the industry. It's hard. It takes practice. It takes skill. But on that note, do remember, yeah, they're just a person and they're someone that you can relate to. But also remember, because I see this a lot and I hear a lot of stories, you know, don't take shit as well. I really makes me really angry. I hear stories a lot. Sometimes I get private messages about people's bosses and business owners, and they will take advantage of a new beauty therapist. So it's also about standing your ground, knowing your rights, knowing how you should be treated, knowing that you do have physical boundaries when it comes to what you do. So a way that a boss might be disrespecting you is they're giving you 8 massages in one day and you're not having breaks. It's not okay. I know you know that, but don't feel vulnerable and be thinking that they're going to fire me. No, that is your right to actually, you know, let them know what your boundaries are. And if they're not going to respect your boundary, like, you could injure yourself at the start of your career. That would be devastating, and you might lose a passion for something you love. That's not okay. You know, speak your boundaries and say, look, I've been doing these 8 massages per day and I love massage. I just don't think I can do 8 hours of back-to-back massages. Or perhaps maybe you're only doing 8 massages with 45 minutes. Still, that's a lot. And it's very draining. And just tell them that and just say, look, I can't do that many. Can I try a few other services in between? You know, kind of expect a bad response, or maybe not a bad response, but don't expect for them to just bend over backwards, because they have to change a lot for you in order for that to happen. But it's good that you're bringing it up, and, you know, they should be respectful and they should really realize the importance of safety in their business. So yeah, kind of consider that, and don't let a boss push you around. Make sure you're getting the right pay. Make sure you're being treated right. You're getting breaks. Are you, safety in the workplace is really important. I've heard so many stories about business owners doing some really dodgy things. Honestly, stand up and say something. Say it to your boss, say it to your manager, say it to someone in your beauty school and be like, hey, I'm not sure if this is okay. Are you able to help me understand whether this is or not? And just remember that you are just as important as everybody else there. You might not have been in the industry for as long and you might not be reaching your targets just yet, but you are important. Your safety is important. You should never be overworked and taken advantage of. It's just not fair. So I hope that one really helps. Probably a conversation for another video, to be quite honest. So I'll write that down now. And they are all my tips for the new beauty therapist who's in beauty school, and these are just my words of wisdom. Definitely, if you are a beauty therapist and you've been in the industry for quite some time, share what you would have done differently. I'm sure these little butterflies would love to hear what you have to offer. That's just my experience, and everyone's could be different. So this is a place for collaboration, networking, sharing, and passing on our information and our wisdom. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I am going to upload this to YouTube a little bit later so a wider audience can see it. But if this, think it'll help someone who's in beauty school, get them to join the group and share this video, whatever you need to do, and let's just help each other. I think that's the most beautiful thing about this group. So have a wonderful night, everyone. It was really lovely to see you. And just for those who are on the YouTube channel, definitely do the whole like and subscribe thing. It helps. It helps. I really appreciate it. So have a lovely night, everyone, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.